This is Kevin. Um, we're still and will forever be in this real time process that you are all a part of with us. Kevin choosing to share this part of his life with, a few 100,000 people every month. And we're 2 weeks out. And what are your days like?
Oh, it's last night was I was sitting there. I was talking to the guys before we went on the air, and I was saying that was revisiting Newsroom on HBO Max, and I used to cherish late night because everybody was in bed, but I always looked forward to my 4 o'clock my 4 o'clock buddy prancing down. And, it didn't happen last night. And man, I just had just a meltdown.
Right. That's, we
Yeah.
mentioned last week. There is the shock at the death announcement, and you were there for all of it, so you went through it. But it's the living, it's the trying to swim with a weight on your back. It's like having a boulder chained to your back, and you're in the water, and you try to get some momentum, I would imagine.
And it's like, I don't care how intelligent you are and how rational you are. Um, it's very hard to rationalize that you're not going to see or hear from that human being in this realm again. And it just,
Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
can't even try. I mean, it's
No,
not
it's
possible.
just,
Yeah.
I can lay in his bed. You know, I can do everything, but I'm sitting down here right now, like I said last week, with that empty chair in front of me.
Mm-hmm. You keep the chair though.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I often do that in my head when I do that, what if it was me scenario with any passing that's tragic. And I'm fairly certain I would be the nut that's talking to the person all the fucking time. And there's just, I think, a part of my brain that I don't know that I'd be able to turn off entirely with that acceptance that they're not there. I
Well,
think,
it's like my phone, and you know how you have your favorites, and your favorites. I always like they're the only people on my phone that have an actual picture, and so it's like I've got a picture of Vince Cianci, I got a picture of Scott, I got a picture of Test,
mm,
and now my son.
you mentioned this, was it Vin? His first name?
Vince.
Yeah, Vince. And you mentioned, but you didn't go into it. This was a friend of yours,
Right.
not from wrestling, just from.
No, just a butt,
Okay.
just a, like a, we're just, just a buddy. Like his mother sold us some real estate down here, and he was down on a visit, and we went all out and had dinner, and then we had as you said, well, I said we went on a Disney cruise. He said I'm sorry, but we went on that Disney cruise, and then the boys hit it off, and the wives hit it off, and he and I hit it off, and I think we hit it off because, I think I'm the only human being that could go beer for beer with him and vice versa. So, which, again, I'm not, I'm in no way glamorizing it
Right.
because that's why he's not here.
How old was he, kid?
Vince was probably 52.
Jesus Christ.
Well, fuck, try 26.
Yeah, no, of course. Well, of course. But I mean, just the number of people that we're talking about now with that similar challenge.
You know what? And the one thing is as hard as it is to share, and as hard as it is to be transparent and to say that, you know, We don't live in, we don't live in Mayberry RFD. We don't live in fucking Leave It to Beaver land.
Mm.
And but like, there's a lot of people that have reached out, man. And if two or three different people have reached out on different social media things, and said they've really taken a look at their lives, and they're trying to clean their act up and doing it for their kids. And because I promise you, man, like my son, he wasn't feeling well, but he had it was bam, and that's
Yeah,
just
and too late. Irreversible at a certain point. So you're right. There is a lot of that feedback. Some more of that feedback. I wanted to go through some of that today. David Upchurch said, David Upchurch says, the Blue Chew ad joke was absolutely perfect timing. Always loved Kev as a person, like him even more now. Better man than me, putting out a show so soon. I was talking about that first show 2 weeks ago. Dread the Rogue says, I found and bought Tristan's band's album. It's amazing. There's so much musical talent on that record. Through that, Tristan will continue to touch the hearts and minds of more people in the future.
Guess we're gonna have to re-release it. I don't think there's I don't know how many copies they ever even threw out.
He got it somewhere. I should probably try and get in touch with him and see where they were. It must be online somewhere.
Probably
search it out.
Probably Bandcamp. I know you can. I know it's a downloadable.
Is it the Builders?
Yeah, the Builders. There's a
Okay.
group called Builders,
Right.
but they're the Builders.
Okay. Yeah, so look for it. We'll let you know. We'll let you know on social media if we get the actual
Boxcar to Jug of Wine
is the album.
Yeah, that's the name of the.
Okay.
That was I'm almost positive because my son named it. I think that's the lyrics to a Manson song.
Oh, one of the songs that
I'm almost positive.
Charles Manson wrote?
Yeah, that the Beach Boys fucking stole.
Tim Hastings.
Like I said, his T would just hear me, hear these stories, and it was always just like, fucking my dad's a menace.
A menace to society?
Yeah.
Is that a quote? Can I quote T from now on and say Nash is just a menace? You got to excuse him. He's just a menace. Tim Hastings.
It's almost like if I was going to be on Broadway, I'd play Haiti. I don't know.
I'm telling you, Hades, casting directors everywhere. Hey, Noel, to make this happen, he's got to.
Yeah,
he's got to play Hades in the. Maybe they'll do a straight version without music. I don't know if that's possible, but maybe we'll work on that. Tim Hastings, from one father to another, we hope you and yours can feel the love that so much of us back here in the 313 have for you during this horrible time in your lives. Stay strong, my brother, and if you need us, we're always here for you. It's always been round, never square, and totally missed the Joe, the stadium, and the dome. Always been round, never been square. Confirmation from Tim Hastings.
313.
John Morgan, I've made 2 comments ever on this platform in the 17 years of its inception. I lost my dad almost a year ago, and I'm still not over it. I'll never be over it. But to see you guys be real, unfiltered, and to let us strangers on the internet with no relation whatsoever be a part of your grief has made my always quiet ass open up and say thank you. I don't think you know how much this has helped me personally. I hope you find peace soon. Thanks again for letting us in. John Morgan.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you for the ride. Coming for the ride.
I just want to say something about that.
I wish you would.
Sometimes one of the, and this is, I'm just speaking only for myself. Sometimes when I speak to a human being and make eye contact, I don't know if I'm more vulnerable. I don't know what it is, but I have a tendency to get choked up, and I'm working my way through this, and I'm sure that there'll be a time in this process where I will want to talk to somebody. I want to talk to somebody that is in this field, whether it's some kind of grievance or whatever, death. And I think that this may be for me. I think it will be a good first place for me to go to just kind of to kind of work through it on my own.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that and I'm just speaking for myself, that it's just, as you were reading that ad, I would just again, you know, it's been 2 weeks. 6:18 this morning was 2 weeks, and I mean, uh, I don't know if anybody can look on the screen, but I mean, I I look a little. I mean, you guys have done some close-ups of me, and I look a little bit rough, and it's amazing that what lack of sleep over the course of 2 weeks will do. And don't I'm not to steal a line from Evita, but don't cry for me, Argentina. You know,
Well, no,
I'm
it's not a matter of, it's not a sympathy
yeah,
ploy. No, nobody feels that that's the case. But as you mentioned, I want to get back to what you said about BetterHelp for a minute. That if you did decide that you wanted to go talk to somebody and you just went to a general therapist, now you're kind of rolling the dice that they will be able to handle grief in a way that
right.
it works for you. Whereas this, you fill out that survey beforehand, and the professionals are able to match you with the right therapist for what you want to talk about. So it kind of removes
Yeah.
that guesswork and just walking into a random
Well,
therapist's
and I
office.
think I mean, the biggest problem we have in America is actually, mental health specialist. Anybody that knows anything about mental health, and it's just it's why waste 7 hours in 2 months of trying to perfect fit, when you get on the phone, and you're going to know whether you click with somebody.
Yeah.
And you don't have to leave your house. It's because that's another thing. You dread when you're in any kind of grief, is you don't want to leave your house. You don't want, because everybody, they're trying to do the right thing and trying to say, I'm so, and it's just that look when they like, I'll be in the gym, and the person will just like, I'll be working out, and I'll see this look in the mirror like this.
Mm.
I'm like, oh, they start to walk over. I'm like, you know what? They're not going to tell me fucking that, like the way you fucking matched your tennis shoes with your tank top today. That ain't coming. Kev, I just wanted to. I know. Thank you so much, man. But now I got to fucking sit down, and because I was in the zone, and I was kind of like, wasn't thinking about it, and now I'm thinking about it, and it's like, so
You want to be receptive, but at the same time, you do want the privacy of you want to own your
yeah.
mind. You want to own
And
your mind. And
and the outpouring of from complete strangers. And like I said, there's a lot of people that reached out that did find my phone number. I mean, a lot, and found different ways to get a hold of me. And at the beginning, I guess, there was, maybe 5 to 10% that was just, people that were just thought they could, kick me when I was down, and then they just realized that, you know, well, fuck, he's as soulless as I thought he was. No, but it's like I'm not gonna fucking sell. I'm not gonna sell. I'm not gonna show you my weakness. You know, like, unless you sneak in my house and put some, like, if you'd have caught me last night at about 4:30 in the morning till about 5, you would have fucking, you know. But
yeah.
and my whole thing too is, like, I got handguns and all kind of shit in my house, and my mind doesn't go there. You know, it's like, and but at the same time, it's just like I every day I just say to myself, how in the fuck am like okay, like now it's Thanksgiving. How do we get through Thanksgiving? How do we get through Christmas? How do we get through his birthday? How do we? And I, you know, I guess you work through. I mean, you figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, there's no manual, first of all, and
No,
you know that. Second of all, you live through your dad, and the first everything is hard. The
yeah,
first Thanksgiving, the first Christmas, the first birthday, the first everything. And though it never becomes easier, the the pain becomes familiar. I remember my wife has asked me. Both of her parents are still alive, and my father died when I was 15, and so she would ask me. She said, "Did it like now when you think about it? Do you get sad?" And I said, "You what what happens is the you forget. Time puts distance in the most cruel way, and so the things that bothered you when it first bothered me when it first happened, you begin to forget. It's the cruelest self-preservation technique, but it's the only way to live. Now a child, completely different. I don't quite know if, like, let's just take one thing, and the door. You talked about the door being open, right? And the Haiti thing, right? It's that was like his graffiti on your home that you're going to walk by all the time. It's never not going to be there. Um, and the preservation, and your wife had a discussion with you about the preservation of things. We talked about hats. I think was what
yeah.
you brought up.
And I when and we talked about it. I said, I said, when the time is right, like I'm going to take out because I'm going to take his room. Like I'm going to sleep in his room. You know, and but for me, like my dad, like because uh he died when I was 8. I always have that whole fucking butterfly effect. Like, what if, like, what if I had, my dad when I was going through the recruiting process? What if my dad said, "Fuck you, you're going to Michigan State. They're going to be national champions."
Hmm.
What I mean? Like, what if?
Yeah.
And now, it's just like, I don't know. Like my son and I were we were setting up to go to Alaska, and you know that ain't gonna fucking happen. So, and it's like and it's not exactly on Tamara's fucking wish list. Hey, how about the fucking no, fuck that. I showed her the food in Iceland. She said, "I'll pass on that motherfucker."
Well, I think that you can safely put aside for now,
Yeah,
and
no, it's just fucked. Just fucked. But hey,
it's that little, like, learning to live without a limb. There's that they call
yeah.
it the phantom. Like, you always feel the arm when you have it amputated. Still, you always feel like it's still there.
Tamara went today, and she went to this like Earth Angel lady that's a friend of everybody, but she's an amazing acupuncturist, and she did some work and she did some like stuff in the back of her skull, and like Tamara had this like it almost brought her like it was so painful that when she did it that it brought her to somehow align with T's pain when made that noise, like before he went to the seizure. And she came home and she was just like, she says like, I don't know what happened. I don't know if T was with me and that's one thing I've noticed is like before when I walked in here tonight, I said, because the last one was hard as fuck. The last one, I mean, I didn't know when I walked in here because that one was, like I said, it was bottomed out, and this one, um, it's like the funny thing is, and like T, when he found out, I don't know if Steve told him or I don't know who told Don. Who somebody told him that if you get 100,000 subscribers, that you get like that plaque
Right, the
from
YouTube
from
plaque.
YouTube.
Yeah.
And I mean that was like fuck man, like that's all he thought. I mean,
It
was
became
just
a
like,
goal.
yes, he was like, and then I think I think we all talked one night, all of us when we got done, and like we were all on the screen, and I think Steve was saying, "No, I think you get one, and you could buy the other ones." And then we got in the car that night, and he said, "And I'll be getting one of those. I'll be getting one of those motherfuckers." So to me, that's the thing. Is just like I have to keep this going for as long as it takes to get 100,000 subscribers because I'm putting Tristan Nash on a plaque and putting that motherfucker in this condo, and like I'm taking some of it, like I'm taking the yeoman portion of his urn. All
Okay,
right.
well, all right. We're more than half.
Good old Haiti. But we're and I'm taking a nice size urn of him down here with me, and it's going to be on the into my table here as I work, and hopefully we can can get 100,000 people to subscribe if nothing else, just for tea. So
Let's make it happen, people. You're listening. Tell a
please.
friend. If you listen every
Yeah.
week and you listen, I know how many people listen to this show, and it's people, they're just not clicking subscribe. So all you guys listening, hundreds of thousands of people, click subscribe so we can get that.
Yeah, because it doesn't make
That
us any.
100.
It doesn't make us any money. It just gives us a fucking plaque, and I'm gonna have to pay for one anyway. So actually, I'm losing on this
He's
deal.
in the red.
Yeah, I'm losing on this deal, but I know that there's somebody looking from upstairs would be like, "Attaboy, Dad, way not to drop the fucking ball." So.
Right. All right.